on the Team Up Facebook page, who is scared to go live on Facebook? And some of you really fessed up. Like, some of you were so afraid you didn't post a comment. That's how afraid you are. Okay. Hey, and guess what? I completely understand. I will post pictures all day long, but I'm talking about going live. Okay. That's just a whole different ball of wax. And I think for me, I think I take myself way too seriously. So we know that it's the direction of the future. We know that posting, social media could really do amazing things for every single one of our businesses. I know that we have fear that we have to walk through. And so tonight I thought I would ask Jamie Cantrell, because she is launching this amazing social media program for her team. I think that's going to take her the whole summer. I just thought she could come on board tonight and share with us some wisdom, because what I love about Jamie is that she's a master at so many things, but she's also being coached constantly on how to do better and be better herself. I always love to have that kind of mentality on my calls. Jamie Cantrell, we are recording. Here we go.
Well, can I tell, I'm going to be completely vulnerable with all of you. First of all, one of the first times I went live, I was sweating. And Jennifer Grubb, who's my best friend, always challenges me on social media. The irony isn't lost to me that I'm teaching tonight, because guys, I'm not the best at it, but where I'm at, I'm learning. And what I'm learning, I have to share with you, because I'm really excited. But one of the first times I went live, I was so nervous, and Jen convinced me to do it, because that's what best friends do. And we split screen lived, and I was in my car, and I couldn't do all of the things that they're hold the phone, drive, talk, make sense. And so what wound up happening is I hit the curb in the middle of the live. Okay. So I want you to use that as your frame of reference. If you just laugh, it's so fine. Okay. So just don't be afraid. If I can do it, anyone can. But I have to tell you that this past summer, not this coming summer, but the last year, I attended a Beyond Leadership event in Las Vegas. Eric Worre put on a very exclusive conference. I've gone 2 summers in a row. And what I've learned there has transformed my entire perspective of how I approach my network marketing business. And in this last one, he said something that caught my attention. He actually let his director of marketing come and speak. It was kind of ad hoc. It wasn't part of the program. And we got 25 minutes unplugged of this social media genius. And of all the information that I obtained that weekend, which was a lot, I will always remember what he said. And I want you to write this down. Become a social media agency. And I listened, but I don't know that I actually heard what he meant by that. So think about it, guys. We wear a lot of hats in our business. We are recruiters. We are salespeople. We are customer service representatives. We are advertising and marketers. We are, we wear a lot of hats. And I never took the social media marketing hat very seriously. Now, how many of you are on social right now? In the chat button, I want this to be really interactive. The first thing I'm going to ask you is, why do you do social media? And I want you to get really, really clear about your answer. There's no wrong answer. I do it to stay connected. Allison, perfect. To educate. I do it to stalk people. I don't really like to talk to people on the phone, so I'd rather just understand what they're doing and then go about whatever is your reason. Why do you social? And then I want you to start to think about, why do you social for your business? Okay, and these are really important questions. I want my team to see my life. Oh, well, let me tell you something. Here's what my social media looked like up until about 2.5 weeks ago. And I want you to see if you relate to anything I say. I would post every day because people told me to. Because I knew consistency and algorithms, I knew there was something related there, but I didn't quite understand it. My posts were very long. I like to write novels on my posts, which I've come to understand people don't read. I was afraid of Instagram because I thought it was just for millennials. I would wake up every morning and wonder, what am I going to post today? What's on my mind or my heart? How many of you wake up and wonder? That's your strategy. I wake up and wonder, okay? Wake up and wonder. The other strategy is post and pray. How many of you pray and hope somebody responds to it? Right? That it's there's that, I don't even know what the feeling is. Catherine Lee's coined it or defined it. There's actually a neurological response when you post that you want the feedback. And a lot of times when you don't, and Kathy, you probably know the terminology of this as well, there's a slight disappointment if people don't respond or comment or share. It's actually why social can be dangerous. But anyway, some of the reasons and hesitations I never took social media seriously. Now, I want you to comment if any of these fall in line with you. I don't know really how to know. I don't know how to do it. I'm not really good at it. Okay. I don't know that I necessarily want the world to see too much of my life. I see those people out there doing it all the time and it annoys me. I don't want to be that person just spamming all the time. Okay, how many of you are relating to some of the stories that I'm throwing out there and don't want to be vulnerable? Interesting, very interesting. And I appreciate this honest feedback because let me tell you something. These are all lies that we tell ourselves to insulate us and protect us. Because if you really think about what the purpose of social media is, it's to be social. It's to, and in this day and age, when the only way we can connect is virtual, it's a way to, number one, personally stay connected, develop social friendships, enhance friendships. But what I really want to focus on tonight is how you use it for business. Because here's the deal, gang. If Corona has taught us anything, it's taught us that life as we know it is moving more virtual. And it's not a short-term fix. This is something that's going to stay. So we either adjust with it, go with it, or we get left behind. And we've heard the adage before, it's not a matter of if you do it, it's how well you do it. There's no time better than now to understand that statement. If you do not have a social media platform, you are going to be thrown into the wind because here's the deal. There's too many competitors of our product. Nobody is our product, but to the layperson, there's too many health products. Two, people demand online. I mean, think of how many of you use Amazon? How many of you point, click, and expect it on your door? People want simplicity and they want it online. And here's the other thing, right, wrong, or indifferent, people don't have time before Corona to pick up the phone and talk like normal people. Now we understand that people are loving the phone calls, right? I love that connection. But from a business perspective, I'm going to share some key highlights. Social media, all fingers point, it's the future of business. I'm going to repeat that statement. It is the future of business. Small businesses actually have a huge advantage when it comes to social media. You know why? Because bigger corporations don't have the personalization that a small business owner can have online. So you have the ability to not only do online, but make it personalized and customizable. That's a unique trait for a small business owner. Social media is growing at warp speed, and your target audiences are waiting for you. They're hanging out there in front of you, and they want to hear from you. 71% of consumers, this is what resonates with me. 71% of consumers are more likely to recommend a brand to others if they have a positive experience with it on social media. 71%. So guys, these are figures that I didn't make up. So obviously now you understand, and I could have given you, there's actually a link that I'm going to send to Terry to post on Team Up, 55 reasons why you should be doing social media. I didn't want to go into the gamut because that's not the focus of tonight. But here's the reality. Each one of you are showing up on a Monday night at 7:30. You are a business owner. Case in point. And social media is not just a piece of your business, it should be a big part of your business, because the return on your investment is huge when you do it well. So you might be saying to yourself, I don't even know where to start. Don't stress about that. We're going to go through tonight. We're going to lay the groundwork and the foundation to build what I like to call your own agency so that you can be a social media influencer with who you are, with what you have, the tools in front of you, and with what you know. You don't have to be anybody but you to be a great social media influencer. Can I get an amen? Okay, yes. Now, I'm going to give you a little tool right now called Ask Me Anything, AMA. Write that down because that's something you can intertwine in your social media to generate engagement. All right, but in the chat button, ask me anything along tonight so that I can answer your questions. Okay, so here's the trouble with where most of us are, myself included. Again, I'm going back to, I'm no expert. I'm just really diving in and I'm practicing what I'm learning. Is that most of us try to navigate social media without an end game in mind. The post and pray, the wake up and wonder, and it's exhausting because it's not a business strategy, right? If you did that with your events, I'm certain the result would be the same thing. So number one is assigning your social media efforts a concrete purpose. Helps you to avoid the trap of posting aimlessly. Are you just on social media, just kind of there? Or are you intentional about creating a thriving business? So here's the reality check before we dive into the meat and potatoes. You cannot expect anything from social media when you post randomly. It's not an effective business strategy. So we're going to give you some strategies, some concrete, and some things to be thinking about. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is awareness. In order to create, and as Terry always says, and I saw her smile, awareness is the first law of learning. You know, Jen would always tell me, Jamie, you've got to get online. You have so much to say. I didn't even realize, I didn't even know what I didn't know. I wasn't aware that I was terrible at it until we met with another network marketing professional a couple weeks ago, a friend of Jen's, and she's mastered some strategy behind social media. We did a Zoom with her. And even though Eric Worre was telling me, and even though Jennifer Grubb was telling me, it took me the third validation. So I want you to be mindful that when you're trying to talk to people about Juice Plus, you know, sometimes it takes not a lot of exposures. She shared with me, by the way, she makes $60,000 a month in network marketing. And I see some of our heads shaking and our thoughts are, there's no way, oh my gosh, that's just saved for the reserved. Let me tell you something. There's nothing different about her than any of us. She's just made a decision, and Terry's seen her page, she's just made a decision to be really good at it. And so for all of you teachers out there, you know, if you want to be good at something, you just do a little research, you do a little work. So the first thing is awareness. How many of you have ever actually audited your own personal social media page? I'm going to give you a couple of key points I want you to write down. My first challenge to you is I want you to audit your own social media page. The first thing is you got to answer is, what does it tell you? If I were a stranger coming to check out your page, what would I learn about Pamelia? What would I learn about Nancy McCarter? Scroll through your page. Do they even know that you're a Juice Plus representative? Do they know why you're a Juice Plus representative? Do they know your hobbies, your interests? What does your page represent about you? Second thing I want you to audit is I want you to pay attention to the demand on your page. which post, let's use Facebook because I think that's mostly where most of us are, which is smart, by the way. Which one of your Facebook posts generates the largest amounts of likes, shares, and comments? I want you to scroll through and I want you to figure out. Chances are they're not your Juice Plus posts. Mine aren't, okay? And that should be a driving force. But which ones and why are they the ones that are high comments, high shares, high likes? You need to pay attention because that's the demand of your audience. That's what they want to see and hear more of, all right? What are the posts that people don't engage in? And I think most of us could probably answer. Okay, if we throw up one more post with the capsules or one more post with the gummies in our hands, I did this for years. And I kept doing it as if me posting the next week the same thing would change the results. It didn't, okay? The third thing is, who are your competitors? Do you know who your competitors are? Is it Isogenics? Is it Arbonne? Is it Vega? It is your job as a business owner and a social media marketer to understand who your competitors are and what are they doing well online? What are they doing well? You need to discover what feeds the interest of their followers and what content strikes up the most rapport. So the first thing that I'm going to challenge each of you to do, this is homework if you will, is to audit and create a level of awareness about who you are to the world and what you represent. And then I want you to be mindful of, I want you to come up with 5 things that you want the world to know. Like I'm looking at Jana and I know Jana personally. She's a woman of great faith. So if I were to look at her page, I know I would find inspiration, faith-based inspiration there. What hobbies do you have? What do you dream about? I know for me, I love dogs. I love my family. I love sports. I love to make people laugh. So I became very clear about what I'm going to be posting about. Understand that very little of my high traction lately has been about Juice Plus, and that's been intentional. All right, second key point is engagement. Engagement. This will not happen overnight. I don't want you to get off this call and go and post and expect people to put 500 comments, okay? I want to set you up for success. Engagement takes time, but it's the most important key element of your social media platform. In order to create engagement, you've got to create some social media goals for yourself. And what I mean by that is if you were to look on your page, how many friends do you have right now on your Facebook? How many followers do you have? Did you know that you can look at the analytics on your post to see which time of day is most articulated? Who likes, what posts have generated the most likes, comments, shares? So understand that with engagement, you have to understand the analytics behind your post. Did you know that Sunday is the worst day of the week to post? And that's because people are at church, they're with families. Did you know that on Facebook, Wednesday is the best day to post, Wednesday afternoon? Okay, and so you can do some research about when are the best times to post because it's different for Facebook than it is Instagram, different audience. Okay, but with engagement, here's some challenges I'm going to give to you. Start showing up on other people's pages. Start commenting, liking, and sharing authentically. Start having fun online. That's going to put you in a position so that they're now going to be able to come and see your page more often. You're going to create higher levels of engagement when you start showing up on other people's pages. Some other ways to create engagement on your page, ask me anything. How about some contests or polls? I'm going to show you a few examples here in a second. Everybody loves freebies and giveaways, and that doesn't have to be just about Juice Plus. And the other challenge here with engagement is Challenge yourself by the end of the month to add a certain number, X amount of new friends. So let's go back to some goals. For me personally, I'm on Instagram now, and my following is very poor. Like, I don't have a ton of followers. My objective is not to gain the number of followers, but I do have a goal in mind. And for the next few months, I've mapped out what my number of followers I would like to be and how I plan to get there. All right, so create some goals for yourself online with Facebook. Maybe it's that you want to create more relationships. All right, who are the people you want to create relationships with? Maybe it's that you want to reach out to you want to show up in 10 new people's threads this week. Okay, but set some monthly goals for your media. The third thing, and this is probably where you're going to spend your most amount of time, is your content must be valuable. Which is why I will say this tongue in cheek, why your Juice Plus posts do not get a lot of traction, because 99.9% of the time you are selling the product. And people do not want to be sold to. Okay, so first point under content is don't worry about cranking out a ton of your own content right now. I don't want you guys to get off this call and start to create a month's worth of content and get so in the weeds with your words that you lose track of income producing activities. The company has some great content generators for you, and here's where you can find them. Juice Plus Insights already have images, stories, and videos that you can use. Also on the freedomrevolution.com, there is actually a social media tab that gives you 30 days worth of what to post. So it kind of takes the guesswork away from you and really just allows you to go back to who do I want to show up and what are my 5 things that I want to share about. But here's the other thing with content. You've got to identify who your audience is. I'm going to say that again. When you market to everyone, you market to no one. You cannot give the same message to an 18-year-old girl that you'd give to a 55-year-old man. So what you have to, as social media marketers, is you got to understand who is the picture of the person on the other end of the screen that you wish to be speaking to. Identify your target markets. I'm going to give you mine. Moms of middle schoolers who are stuck right now in Corona. I'm speaking to that audience right now. I'm speaking to athletes who are trying to figure out what to do right now when they're out of season. I'm speaking to home improvement and crafty ideas. I'm speaking to people who are trying to make plant-based decisions. So it's pretty clear who I'm speaking to. So when I know who I'm speaking to now, I can understand what their needs are. Okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to screen share some interesting track record in the last 2.5 weeks, what's happened when I started to employ the concepts of auditing my page, engagement, and content. When I focused on helping more than I focused on selling. Okay, this is my page. Can you guys see it okay?
Yes.
Okay, so my first post, and this is when I started my beta test. My first post came at May 7th. And the thing about social media, I absolutely was short, sweet, to the point. It was about this chair that I am now obsessed with. Who would have thought a chair post would generate more than 115 comments? And I can't begin to tell you the conversations I'm having on Messenger right now about where did you get this? Why did you make the decision to buy it? And I would tell my story. I needed a place to have my quiet time, my coffee, and set my intentions for my business for the day. This is the kind of way that I'm getting into conversations with people. I will tell you, those 115 people, so many of them were people who've never commented or posted anything on my social media. This was a retro, I didn't post it, but it's funny, people start to pay attention and start to show back up in your feed. Here's something else that I did a few days later. Every Friday, I have Fun Friday. And I developed that because one of the things I want people to know is that I like to have fun. and I like to be funny. So every Friday I'm scaring somebody in my house. And I made a live video, which here's the thing about live. When you own the content and you're comfortable, live isn't scary. But when you try to be something or someone you're not, it's a stretch. For me, this was easy to tell a story about scaring, and I showed people how I scared my son. I now have people sending me messages about jokes and pranks that I can be doing to my family, sending me websites. Like, I'm in such engagement with people. And listen, I'm not doing it just to get Juice Plus, but I am doing it to bring joy to people, to have fun. I'm having so much fun doing this. Like, my whole day is made. So as a result of these two posts, 505 views, 102 comments, as you start to scroll up in my other posts now, they start to generate more comments over stuff that I would have never gotten looks at before. I know I'm moving through pretty quickly, but now I threw in a little bit of a Juice Plus post here, and I'm starting to get some traction. This Meatless Monday live that Terry showed up on, I have a share, 344 views and 23 comments. This is just the start. But I'm going to tell you that my strategy is now to go live twice a week, if not 3 times, and to just post about things that are natural. I'm having fun. So the last thing before we jump off here, and I haven't even had a chance to look at the chat button, and I apologize that I'm kind of rushing through this last thing because we have our team call at 8 o'clock, but I have a pop quiz for you. I'm going to go back to the question that I asked you at the very beginning. Why are you on social media? I want you to get really, really clear. Why are you on social? When you begin with the big picture, the goals become less intimidating. So do you want to add more customers? Do you want to build an online following? Do you want to attract team members? Do you want to educate? Do you want to inform? Do you want to inspire? Do you just want connectivity? Identify that goal, and then your social media content strategy, your engagement strategies will all start to fall into place. So your homework, your call to action, your CTA, okay, as we close for tonight, go to your personal Facebook page and do the audit. Ask yourself, who are you showing up? What does the world learn about you from this? Which posts are generating a lot of traction, which ones are not, and understand why. Know who your competitors are and what they're doing well. Pay attention to the needs in your market. Identify your target audiences and their needs, and that will help you develop what your posting strategy is all about. Now, to be honest with you, on Sunday nights, I map out my days of the week for my social media. And it avoids me waking up and posting and praying. So I hope this has been this is the first step. This is not a one and done. This is the first step to building a foundation for your social media. Hope that helps you guys.
Oh, Jamie Cantrell. Guys, what are you going to say? First of all, her call, you got to go. It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I love you. This was amazing. We want you back. We want you back. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Wow. Aren't we glad that we're recording this? This will be posted a little later tonight on the Team Up Facebook page. And there's just a lot to learn. There's a lot to do, but it's exciting. I'm excited to get good at this. So anybody have any quick questions before we say good night? Because I'm going to go back in and review this recording. All right. Guys, you're the best. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you,
No
Terry.
call next Monday night. It's the holidays. And I've got to tell you, the following Monday, Jason Fowler, London Culbreath, it is going to be the most amazing call, athletes and nutrition, right here on Team Up. Thanks so much, guys. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you for
Bye,
recording.
Terry.